This time I won't speak. I'll let the story play out. Let's finish this.
Of moments Alora wasn't part of. Aria stared at one photo where she was riding on my back in a hiking trail. She didn't speak for a while. Then she asked, "Why didn't Dad tell us any of this?" Kenzie asked if I had left them because I was too sad. I told them the truth. I told them I never left. I told them there were people who didn't want me around, but I never stopped trying. I didn't name names. I didn't place blame. I just said, if you ever want to ask questions, I will always tell you the truth. They didn't say much after that, but they didn't walk away either. The next morning, while I was packing their backpacks, Aria asked if she could take one of the photo albums back to Damien's house. I asked which one, and she picked the one with the beach trip and bedtime stories. I said yes, but I also slipped a printed copy of the court order into the back sleeve, just in case anything happened to the album. That afternoon, my lawyer followed up with an update. The court date for the custody review was moved up due to the mounting evidence. She said that with Miranda's statement, the event footage, and the girls beginning to question the narrative, the case was building fast. Meanwhile, Alora's blog was put on temporary suspension by the hosting platform, likely in response to the court's motion. All her entries went offline. Her Instagram switched to private. The account bio was edited. Mom of Twins was changed to just lifestyle creator. For once, the truth wasn't something I had to fight to prove. It was standing on its own. The morning after my lawyer sent out the cease and desist letters, I got confirmation that several platforms had already complied. One of them was an event management site where Alora had spoken on a panel about step-parenting through adversity. They removed her profile entirely. Another was a podcast that had posted an episode featuring Alora calling herself a single mother by circumstance. That episode was pulled down within hours. Later that day, someone from the podcast's media team sent me an anonymous email. They confirmed they'd received the cease and desist notice and would not be re-uploading the episode or using the twins' names again. That night, Alora's Instagram account went private. The bio changed again. First, it said just a girl sharing her journey. By morning, it was blank. Most of the posts featuring Aria and Kenzie were gone. The account lost a few thousand followers overnight. I didn't say anything. I didn't message her. I just forwarded screenshots of the changes to my lawyer, who logged everything into our file. On Wednesday afternoon, Damien showed up at my door. It was the middle of a workday. He had a white bakery box in one hand and looked like he hadn't slept. I opened the door halfway. He said he wanted to talk. I didn't invite him in, but I stepped outside with him. He handed me the box, cookies from the same bakery we used to take the girls to on Sundays. He said he was sorry. Said things had gotten out of hand. Said Alora meant well. I asked him straight out, why did he let her act like she was the only mother? Why did he sign forms at school without telling me? Why did he sit back while my daughters were told I left them? He said he didn't think it mattered. That Alora was just trying to be supportive, that he didn't think it would go this far. I told him it had gone far, that the girls were confused, that Aria cried asking why he never told her the truth, that Kenzie thought I left because I was too sad. I told him the damage was already done, and I had every word, every form, every blog post backed up. That was when he panicked. He said he never meant to lose custody. This was never supposed to turn into a fight. I said, then you shouldn't have played house at my expense. I asked him directly if he ever told the girls I abandoned them. He didn't answer. He just looked down at his shoes. I handed him a folder, thicker than the last one. It had copies of every court violation, screenshots of the name change request, transcripts from Alora's blog and podcast appearances, and the school documents he signed without me. I told him, this is what I'll be bringing to court, and the court won't just ask why you let this happen. They'll ask why you let your daughters believe their mother disappeared. He didn't say a word. He took the folder and walked back to his car. That weekend, for the first time in almost 2 months, he returned the girls exactly on time. No texts. No excuses. He pulled up to the curb, walked them to the door, and left without speaking. Aria gave me a hug without me asking. Kenzie walked into the kitchen and asked if we could bake instead of going out. She said she liked the real photos better, the ones where her hair wasn't curled and we were wearing pajamas. On Monday, my lawyer called with another update. Alora had fully complied with the court motion. Every public platform she was associated with had removed all references to the girls. Her speaking engagements were canceled. Her affiliate sponsorships dropped. The email she used for press inquiries was shut down. Then the letter came. My emergency request for sole legal custody had been approved for preliminary review. A hearing was scheduled in less than 3 weeks. The court agreed that the situation met the standard for an expedited review based on documented interference, misrepresentation, and emotional harm to the children. It didn't mean the custody order was changed, yet, but it meant the court was listening. The next step was presenting everything in court: calendars, logs, photos, screenshots, testimony, all of it. And this time, it wasn't just about missed weekends or unapproved photo shoots. It was about 2 little girls who had been told their mother vanished, when the truth was that she'd been fighting the whole time to stay in their lives. The morning of the hearing, I arrived at the courthouse 30 minutes early. My lawyer met me at the steps. She carried a binder we'd spent weeks building, color-coded, tabbed, backed up twice. Every visitation denial, every school form, every blog post, every podcast transcript, every message I had sent that was ignored. There were screenshots, videos, timelines. We weren't leaving anything to chance. The courtroom was smaller than I expected. Wooden benches, 2 flags, a judge's bench elevated just enough to feel serious. Damien sat across the room with his lawyer. His suit looked like it hadn't been worn in years, wrinkled at the sleeves and a little tight around the neck. Alora sat beside him. She wore a beige turtleneck and light makeup. Her eyes stayed on the floor. She didn't say a word to anyone. The judge came in, glanced over the docket, and then addressed the room. He stated that the emergency review had been granted because of ongoing custodial interference, emotional manipulation, and misrepresentation of parental authority. His tone didn't leave room for interpretation. My lawyer opened. She started with the custody agreement. She She outlined the court-ordered terms Damien had violated, missed weekends, unnotified pickups, and school decisions made without my consent. She went step by step. Very calm, direct. Then she introduced the misuse of the girls' names and images. Alora's blog posts were shown on the court's projector. Screenshots of Alora calling herself their only real mother and describing me as biologically present but spiritually absent were displayed one by one. The judge stopped on that line. He looked directly at Damien and asked, "Did you object when this portrayal was published?" Damien looked stunned. He stumbled through an answer, said he didn't think it would go public. The judge cut in. Negligence is not a defense. You had a legal duty and you failed it. Alora leaned forward, whispered to her lawyer, but didn't speak until the judge asked her one question directly. Did you ever refer to yourself, in writing or in speech, but as the only mother of these girls? Her lawyer hesitated, but the judge told her to answer. Her voice cracked, but she said yes. Then came the school documentation. My lawyer brought up the form submitted to change the girl's last name. It was signed by Damien, with Alora's handwriting in the notes section. No authorization, no legal permission. Just fraudulent paperwork handed in during a school event I hadn't even known about. Damien's lawyer tried to say it wasn't meant to be deceptive, that it was a practical measure to prevent confusion at school. The judge leaned forward and said, "You're not confused about who their mother is, are you?" The room was quiet. Then my lawyer asked the court's permission for me to read a letter. It was from Aria. She had given it to me the week before, folded inside one of the photo albums she'd borrowed. The judge approved. I stood, opened the page, and read it out loud. "I'm sorry I believed bad things. I thought you didn't want us. But I remember you used to sing when I couldn't sleep. I want to remember more. I love you." No one moved. No one spoke. Damien wiped his eyes. Alora turned her face away. Her shoulders were shaking. But no one reached to console her. The judge called a recess. When we returned, he delivered the ruling. I was granted primary legal and physical custody. Damien was given limited visitation. Every other weekend, supervised for 6 months. After that, the court would reassess. Alora was barred from making any school decisions, medical appointments, or legal actions involving the girls. She was also forbidden from publishing or posting any content involving them on any platform, personal or professional. The judge concluded by saying the girls had a right to their real history, not a version rewritten for clicks or appearances. A family, he said, is not a brand. As we left the courthouse, there were no reporters, no staged hugs, no photographer waiting to catch the moment. Just me, holding two hands that never should have been pulled away from mine in the first place. No captions, no filters. Just a mother and her daughters, walking out into the sun, free from someone else's story.
I put my thoughts in the comments. Thank you all for watching. Have a great weekend. Happy Halloween. And next story the next day. We out.